Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Mallory and today we're going to be making bagels, homemade bagels. I made these this weekend and we ate them so fast that I'm having to make some more already. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, we are going to make homemade bagels. I made them over the weekend. I loved them. I want to share them with you. I have a scale. I'm going to do this by weight. I apologize for what you may or may not be seeing. We are going to weigh out 445 grams. That's 3¼ cups of flour. $448 will do. A teaspoon and a half of salt, and I forgot my measuring implement. Oh, that's why they tasted so good. Let's do it that way. 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. One teaspoon of yeast. And a 1.5 cups of water. And I'm going to let this water get warm. So that was 450 grams of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon of yeast, and I'm about to add 1 cup of water. You can add up to 1.5 cups of water depending on the texture. I'm going to lock this in place and start on low. What I'm doing here is adding the extra water that it calls for, and I'm watching what the dough looks like. I want it to be dry, so to speak, and not moist appearing. I want all the flour to be incorporated, but just enough water for it to be incorporated. And I just keep watching it to make sure that I'm not adding too much water. This may have only been my second time making it, but I knew from my mistake the first time how sticky the dough was, that I had added way too much water, and I had added the complete 1.5 cups. So I add approximately 1/4 cup. So 1 1/4 cups water. But what you'll see me do in just a minute is add about a tablespoon more of bread flour, because I have inadvertently added too much water. It's too sticky, and I don't feel that if it needs longer, that, and I mean KNEADS, not NEEDS, if it needs longer, that it will become the right texture. So here I am adding another, about a tablespoon, I use my tablespoon measure, of flour. And honestly, I think after this I add a drop more water, but I don't remember. Whenever you're adding, you need to add really slowly, like I have done, just drops at a time, tablespoons at a time, maybe even teaspoons at a time, because you can't take it back out, and you don't want your dough to be too firm or too dense. So be careful. Now it says to allow it to knead for 10 minutes. You see that it was sticking to the side of my bowl. It was too moist. So I added about a tablespoon more of flour. So now it is kneading, and I'm going to allow it to knead for about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, until it forms a nice ball. Okay, we're going to take the dough out. It has kneaded for a little over 10 minutes. Oh, goodness. It's so perfect. We're going to cut it in 8 pieces. By cutting it in half many times. Okay, I've got it in 4 pieces. I'm going to cut each piece into 2 pieces. And then I'm going to form those into balls and allow them to rise. I was going to do something fancy, but I'm just going to roll them into balls. And I'm going to flatten them into little discs. And I'll allow them to rise how they rise. At this point, I'm not concerned about preheating my oven. I'm just concerned about getting these into little balls, little discs, and letting them rise, because they're going to rise for 1 hour. I'm going to cover them with press and seal, because that's what I have. One thing that I am going to do right about now is put them Excuse me, I gotta move my camera. Put them in the oven with the light on. And set a timer for 1 hour. I'm taking the donuts, the dough of the bagels, and putting holes in the center. This has risen for 1 hour. You're going to make your hole a lot bigger than you think it needs to be. Okay, my water is simmering. I'm going to get a slotted spatula and I'm going to place the bagels in one by one. Woo! Don't drop it. They're going to float to the top when they're ready to come out. You don't want this water to boil. You just want it to be a nice, even simmer. And as they pop up, just scoop them out. And place them on the parchment paper. Oh, they're sticking to the bottom. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put these in an oven at, oh boy, I'll tell you in the voiceover, but they bake for about 15 minutes. These will bake in a 450-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. It was so easy to make these bagels. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. I appreciate all the wonderful comments that I receive, and I look forward to hearing from more of you in the future. Bye!